Harden today.
As far as timetable, there is no timetable as far as I know. And it is a setback. You know, you want your best player to be here. You have to be honest and understand that this is a setback, not having one of the best players in the NBA here. But I'm working with the guys who are here, and we're working hard, and we're doing a good job. I have no clarity about the message, honestly. I take it basically at face value that he's not here. What the reasoning is on him. He has a reason, but that's on him to tell whoever what his reason is.
Steven, is James currently in Houston?
I don't know.
Someone who's pretty close to James Harden. Have you talked to him recently and gotten a sense of where his head is at right now?
I'm here to speak for PJ Tucker.
Getting awkward there in Houston. NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski joins us now. Woj, still no James Harden with the Rockets at training camp. How is the team handling this?
Well, this has put a pall over the entire organization, especially for a first-year head coach in Stephen Silas. But organizationally, listen, they want to get Harden in there. They want to get him on the court with John Wall. They want to avoid a scenario where they begin to fine him or suspend him for being not in camp. And they're hopeful that he'll get there. And this is an organization that has given a great deal of leeway to James Harden over the last few years. And they have tried to rein in and create some more accountability. Players have told them they wanted it. It was a big issue with Russell Westbrook. And now they're at a crossroads where how they will handle this. They hope that Harden makes it easy on him and shows up and gets in camp, but he's yet to do that.
All right, and Stephen Silas' use of that word, hold out, that's a powerful word when you talk about the NBA. So NBA regular season begins in 15 days. The Rockets play their first game versus the Thunder in 16 days. What are the chances Harden isn't with the team when the season begins?
Well, Ryan, there's two scenarios there, obviously. One, if he doesn't come into camp and he continues a holdout. The other is the possibility of a trade. Now, the team that he'd like to be traded to, the Brooklyn Nets, the Rockets and Nets have had no contact, no conversations, I'm told, since the very beginning of this weeks ago. And those conversations didn't go anywhere. The Rockets have made it clear to the rest of the league that if they're going to trade James Harden, they want a monumental haul back for a player they consider one of the best 3 or 4 in all of the NBA, a great young player, multiple picks, perhaps pick swaps. There's only a select few teams that a James Harden trade really makes sense for, because teams will tell you they're not going to give up those kinds of assets unless they know James Harden wants to stay long-term with their team. He's got 2 years left on his deal. They do have some time and a bit of a cushion to work with Harden, because he's not in the last year of his contract. And so those are all the scenarios that the Rockets are having to face right now.
And it's a difficult situation to face, especially with a man who has been the face of your franchise. Woj, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Still ahead, 36 at the end of the month. And in those nearly 36 years, he's won 4 NBA championships. He's a 4-time Finals MVP and a 16-time All-Star. Off the court, he's become a family man, a philanthropist who even opened his own school, as well as an entrepreneur. Although he's the oldest player on the Lakers roster, LeBron isn't done yet. Today, on the second day of practice at training camp, he spoke on his quest for a 5th ring.
I guess the bullseye just becomes even greater, even if that's even possible. One, for me personally, the bullseye has always been on my back or on my front since I entered the league. And then you add in the Laker name on top of that. The Lakers franchise, the bullseye's been on this franchise for a long time as well.
And just bigger picture, the significance of both you and AD and the contract extensions and what you think that means for the two of you in the franchise.
Well, what it means that we're here and we're committed to this franchise. We're going to give everything that we got to this franchise. The Lakers believe in us, and and they rewarded us with those contracts. It's a great partnership.
What was your first reaction when you heard December 22nd for a season, and how did that change kind of your off-season plans from that point forward?
I was like, wow. Oh, and I said, oh, shit. Just being completely honest, I wasn't expecting that because early conversations were going on. I was hearing that there would be kind of a mid-January start, and the training camp will kind of start after Christmas. We have an opportunity to spend Christmas with our families, so I had already planned a vacation with my family for us to go somewhere, which I haven't been able to do, obviously, since I've been in the league. And, so I had to switch up a lot of things. Physically, right now I'm sore as hell. We day 2 of camp, so I'm super sore, but nothing, I don't have anything that's stopping me from being on the floor. Mentally, I'm great. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. I'm great mentally, so I'm in a really good place in my life.
Yep, you heard the man. Nothing stopping him. A year after becoming the first player to win Finals MVP with 3 different teams, LeBron James, at almost 36 years old, is seeking his 11th Finals appearance. Now, if he does, he would join some very exclusive company. Only Bill Russell and Sam Jones have appeared in that many finals, and both were on the Celtics when they made 10 straight.
From LeBron.
As I said yesterday, we're working as if this is the 6th to the 23rd, so there is some time, but, it is a setback. I have to be honest and understand that this is a setback, not having one of the best players in the NBA here. But I'm working with the guys who are here, and we're working hard, and we're doing a good job.
Well, shouts to him, new coach, being put in a difficult position and being candid and honest. Definitely the way to go, coach, because people know if you're not telling the truth. What do you think it is like for him to be starting now and dealing with all of this?
Well, it's difficult. You want your best player in camp. You want your best player there to lead and set examples and things like that. And right now they don't have that. And when you see them on Instagram having a good time, kind of going against the COVID protocols, it seems like James is sending a pretty strong message back to Houston about where he's at. And as the coach, you just got to keep pushing forward. You got to prepare your team. You're going to have a no excuse attitude like I know Coach Silas has. And you do the best you can with what you have.
Well, that's definitely the playbook, but it is easier said than done. And for the whole Rockets organization, Fizz, can they afford to let this drag out through the season? Because they told our Tim McMahon earlier last month, we can afford to get uncomfortable. We're willing to get uncomfortable. We're not going to take less for James in a trade than we think that he is worth to set our organization up for the future. But are they going to be able to actually pull that off?
That's going to be a tough line to walk because, they're going to be getting a lot of pressure from him and his people. And if he's not performing at the level that we're used to seeing from James Harden because he's got a lot going on internally, people are going to look at that and see that as an opportunity to wait him out. And if Houston waits too long, they might get stuck in a position where they lose. So it's really walking a fine line on when to do it and when to pull the trigger. But also, you got to keep James Harden in a place where he still plays for you and performs for you and gives your team a chance.
Absolutely. And I now see we are joined by our senior insider, Ramona Shelburne. Lovely to have you here. Can you piggyback on what Fizz was saying? Just how long can the Rockets afford to wait this out?
Well, Rach, you were the one who covered Jimmy Butler in Minnesota a couple years ago.
Yep.
And I think we all thought that they had some time. Okay?
They did not,
Jimmy Butler
Ramona.
made
They did not have
fairly
time.
uncomfortable. No. I seem to remember watching you interviewing him right as things were about to blow up there. And, if a player wants to make the team uncomfortable, if he wants to be disruptive, then they can. And I think the one thing that got me about James's post over the weekend is, this isn't Lou Williams at the strip club in Atlanta, at Magic City, where somebody posted a photo of him and then everybody said, oh, wait, Lou Williams was at Magic City?
Right.
This was James posting it himself.
Right.
He wanted people to know he was out with little baby with the Prada bag and $100,000. I don't know how much more blunt you can be, but that's a message that's sent. Now, I also covered a media day. Oh man, it feels like a million years ago. I think it was 2007 though, when Kobe Bryant had demanded a trade with the Lakers, and we were all standing out there waiting to see if he'd show up. And none of his teammates knew if he'd show up, but he eventually showed up, and did what he was supposed to do, said what he was supposed to say. The Lakers never traded him, and they went on to the finals that year because Andrew Bynum got good, and they traded for Pau Gasol. So could be one of two things for the Rockets.
Yeah, I remember Kobe Bryant said on the radio that he wanted to trade. It wasn't even like through reporters or sources. He came out on the radio and said, I wanted to be traded.
He put his name on it.
And absolutely, they waited him out. And it is a little bit of a battle of wills because James has 2 years left on his deal. And there is a point, Fizz, I think, where the coaching staff and the front office can say, we don't care. You need to be out on the court and play. And remember, if NBA players, quote, sit out, it's not like the NFL. NFL players can sit out and their contract year continues, even if they're not getting paid. With the NBA, if you don't report, your contract year does not start. So those 2 years he has left on his deal with the Rockets, if James would say, and he's obviously not going to do this, but just to explain the difference, if James's strategy was somehow, well, I'll just sit out this season, he would come back the next season and still have 2 more years left on his deal. Inside the franchise, what are the discussions, Fizz, that as a coach you're having with the front office back and forth about how to handle it and what to say to the other players?
Well, I think it first starts with sitting down with James and saying, okay, how do you want this to play out? And, yes, we are actively shopping to trade you, but until we can, we all have to be pros and do our job. And you would expect and you would want to encourage him to be that type of person that would come out and play until that opportunity came up where a deal could be worked out. It doesn't look good for anybody if James doesn't show up.
Well, and I think for Houston, for Houston, Fizz, to me, the conversation is James going to play nice? Is he going to be, or is he going to be disruptive? If he can settle in with John Wall and they can get off to a decent start, that actually increases Houston's leverage. But if he's disruptive, if the team starts to crater, then they're really trading him from a place of duress. And I think that's what the organization has to determine. Now, I personally am in the camp that says he's under contract, he's a great player. You just don't get many chances to trade great players.
Right.
And if you trade James Harden in the wrong deal, your franchise is going to be digging out from under that trade for the next 5 to 6 years. So you wait until you get what you want for James Harden. And you have to tell him, help us help you. I mean, there's a lot of players who've been in this situation. And if you help us help you, then you can get to where you want and we can get something in return for you.
And that's where that professionalism comes in, where you just say, hey, listen, come out, play hard like you always do, perform at a high level. There's an expectation of James Harden when he steps on the court from fans and from everyone in the country around the world. Be that guy and just know that we're really pushing forward to try to help you get to the place that you want to be so we can make sure that everybody wins.
And look, we talk about Kobe Bryant or Jimmy Butler. Every situation is different. And one of the complexities with this situation is that the team that James reportedly wants to go to is not a team that necessarily desperately needs him, right? They've got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So I guess it depends on how much KD and Kyrie say you absolutely